Good morning and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to do a video about breastfeeding an older child. It might be a little bit of a controversial video for a second attempt at a YouTube video, and I'm pretty sure it's still going to be rough and ready like the other one was. But yeah, I just wanted to go into not like massive detail, but just to explain a little bit about feeding an older baby or toddler, because a lot of people don't seem to think that it's like normal or should be the norm. Myself included, when I actually started breastfeeding, I was like, I'll feed him till he's 6 months. Then I was like, I'll feed him till he's got teeth. And now I'm pretty much at the stage where I'm like, I'll feed him till one of us wants to give up, because it's normal and it's natural and it's the best way for him to get the nutrients that he needs. It's comforting for him. A lot of it, I suppose, will be comfort for them, and it just brings them up to be independent as well. Like, I know that sounds a bit backwards, but research has shown that the more responsive you are as a parent to your child, and the more they will become independent. When they are ready, when they want to go off and explore the world, they will do that, and then they'll come back, they'll touch base with you, and then off they go again. So also the WHO, World Health Organization, says that breastfeeding should be done exclusively for 6 months before weaning, and then up to 2 years and beyond. The NHS also say, you know, the health benefits, they don't stop just because your baby hits a certain age. And in a lot of other countries, like, breastfeeding's done till natural term weaning, which is up to, well, when milk teeth fall out. Like, babies will do they'll wean when they're ready to wean, which can be between like 2 years old to 5 years old. I'm not sitting here saying I'm still going to be feeding him at 5, but what I'm saying is, at 14 months is not too old to be feeding. And the reason I'm doing this video is because that is a couple of comments that has been said over the past week. It's too big to be on the boob. Don't you think you need to get him onto cow's milk yet? No. Why would I give him milk from another animal when I've got what he needs right here? Why would I do that? Like, I'm not saying he's never had a taste of it. He has. But I'm not going to fully replace what I can give him with cups full of cow's milk. That just makes no sense. Why is that normal? Why is that normal to give a baby milk from another animal rather than human milk? It's bizarre that it's ingrained into us that we think that that's normal. Oh, they've hit 1, they can have cow's milk now, so they should have cow's milk. No, they shouldn't. If you want to give your baby cow's milk or formula or stop breastfeeding, I'm not saying, like, don't do that. That is your choice. You know, no pressure or anything, but it's my choice that I still want to be feeding my son, and he still wants to be feeding. God, if I took it away, he'd be absolutely devastated. Like, anyone who knows that's looked after him for me, when if he wants his milk, like, he wants his milk. He doesn't want it out of a bottle or a cup, even expressed. He wants it from me. He wants his mummy. He wants his comfort. That's how we're evolved to be. I was looking at a meme the other day, and it was about an orangutan, and it was like saying, oh, what a terrible mother. She didn't put her baby down at all for the first year. Like, literally, the baby just clung to her for the first year, and she's still breastfeeding at 7. Like, but it's normal because it's an animal, so that's fine. But it's not normal for a human to be still breastfeeding their child above the age of 1, or because they've got teeth. Just absolutely baffles me. Why do you think they're called milk teeth? So yeah, that's just my little bit of a rant. But then, on the flip side of it, I just wanted to give, like, both kind of, well, not both kind of perspectives, but like, it's it's not like the easiest thing. Like, a lot of people will be like, oh, the mother's just doing it for them, they're doing it for them, it's not for the baby. I'm gonna just splice in a minute, a clip that I took of me feeding him the other day. It's not always fun and games, you know. They don't sit still. It's not like when you bring home a lovely little newborn and they just lay there and latch on and have a nice snuggly feed, and it's so cute and sweet. Oh no, it's slaps to the face, it's feet under your chin, it's pulling your glasses off, pulling your hair, sticking the fingers in your mouth and pulling your lip right down. It's jumping off one boob onto the other, swapping from side to side, pulling your top down, letting the world see your titties. That's fun, isn't it? We do that because we love that. Do it because it's what we feel is best for our babies. If you feel it's best to give them a bottle, like, do that. Like, I'm not saying, oh, don't give them a bottle. I've expressed that I've given it in a bottle, and just for context, I bottle fed my first son, and I only breastfed my second son for 5 days, and then I bottle fed him. So I'm not averse to bottle feeding or anything like that. It's a little bit of backstory on why I want to continue as well, and it means a lot to me because I have actually managed to be able to do it this time round. First time with Brandon, I was like, I didn't even try. I didn't want to do that. Bottle was the way forward. I did not want to even attempt to try and breastfeed. And then with my second child, I was like, well, I'll give it a go. I lasted, like I said, 5 days. I had no support from anywhere. I was, apart from my husband, there was no like breastfeeding support groups. The midwife came in, had a look from a distance and was like, oh yes, latch looks fine. She couldn't tell from over the other side of the living room. So yeah, I had sore cracked nipples, they were bleeding, I was up all night with him, I was crying, I was in so much pain, I didn't know what to do. I was following the videos online, I was trying to get that latch right, latching and attaching and everything that they're saying. It just wasn't working, and I was just getting myself in such a state about it. I was like, I'm just gonna have to give him a bottle. So then I tried expressing, and I was giving him expressed breast milk for a while, and just the pump, obviously they're not quite as effective as a baby at getting the milk out. And then I thought, you know, well, I'll try and back on the breast now. My boobs have had a bit of a rest, but then he didn't want to go back on the boob because he'd been on the bottle. So I just continued trying to just express, and my milk just dried up. It was just not a successful breastfeeding journey at all. But in my mind, I had got myself so worked up with wanting to give it a go that time, and then because it didn't go right, I got really kind of depressed and down about that, because in my way I felt like I'd failed my baby by not being able to feed him myself, which I know is silly looking back on it, because I hadn't failed anyone. Like, I didn't even breastfeed my first baby, didn't fail him. But in that moment, when you're, you know, sleep deprived and full of hormones and stuff, it can have it did have a big impact on me. So obviously the third time round, I was like, right, I'm really going to give this a really, really good go. And yet again, we struggled, but we were lucky because we had the support from a breastfeeding peer support group in the ward at the hospital. I had a couple of bad experiences with other people. Like, one of the midwives, when I was struggling to feed baby, was like, oh, maybe your nipples are too big, so he can't get on, so you'll just have to bottle feed him. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So luckily I'd done up my research at that point, and I was just like, well, no, that's just stupid. Why would you even say that? And I asked for some syringes so I could syringe feed him, so at least he was getting, you know, the colostrum. And then I got the the team at Fab, it was the peer support group, they came and helped me in the ward. So I was in for a few days, and then so they were helping, like every time I was struggling with feed, I was buzzing, they were coming around, they were helping with like positioning and attachment and things like that. So that made a big difference, having that support. And then when we went home, so obviously it was middle of the pandemic, we couldn't have the peer supporters come out to home to help us. So it was like doing phone appointments. The midwives were actually really supportive, the community midwives who came out into the house, so they were good with helping with, you know, positioning and attachment and stuff. And a couple of people checked and they actually had tongue tie, so they were saying, you know, is it affecting his weight gain, which it wasn't. He was gaining weight like a trooper, like he never even lost any of his birth weight, which is really, really unusual. Like for breastfed babies in particular, it's normal to drop up to 10%, I think 7% of the birth weight. Don't quote me on that, it is a percentage, it might be 5%, but it's normal for them to lose weight anyway, especially in the first few days after birth. He didn't even lose weight, so he was obviously getting what he needed from me, but it was a struggle. It was a really struggle for me. It was painful. It wasn't getting his latch on properly because of his tongue tie. They wouldn't refer through the NHS for the tongue tie correction surgery because he wasn't losing weight and because it was only affecting me. So never mind that my nipples were cracked and bleeding, and it was excruciatingly painful with every feed. That didn't matter because baby was putting on weight, so that there was no referral needed. Now, because yet again I'd got it in my head I didn't want to let him down, I was stubborn. Like I was really, really stubborn, and I was like, I'm sorting this out. So I paid for a Lactation Consultant appointment on Zoom with a lovely lady called Karen, I believe, and she helped me to learn how to bung the baby on the boob without doing this whole positioning and attachment and looking for the open mouth, and just by using baby's natural reflexes, because when you're looking down and you're trying to get them on and you're doing all this, you're kind of disturbing what baby would just do naturally. So she helped me to do that when he was about probably 6 weeks, which was like a crucial point at that point, because that's when they have a growth spurt and they feed more. So I was really, really struggling. So I was like, right, I'm getting this advice in and I'm getting it sorted, and it worked. So I was like, right, I've got 6 weeks, done it right. So plan is now we'll get to 6 months. That'll be that. We'll probably stop 6 months, put him on the bottle. But do you know, like, it's just such a nice bonding experience. At the moment, it's the only time he sits still during the day is when he's feeding or when he's sleeping, apart from the, you know, slapping to the face. But sometimes he's nice and he's cuddly and he's snuggly, and it's just lovely just having just that little cuddle. It's nice to know that you're their comfort. And it's nice to know, like, it's a big achievement. It really is, especially when we've had such a struggle at the beginning. Like, I don't think as well people tell you how hard it is to breastfeed. Like, a lot of the time people are like, oh, it's easy, you don't have to get up and sterilise bottles, don't have to do this, don't have to do that. But what they don't tell you is, like, obviously with breastfeeding, you're feeding on demand and your baby wants to feed a lot. And even recently at a breastfeeding group that I went to, one of the ladies was like, oh, he's over one, he'll only be having morning and nighttime feeds now, then won't he? No, he's still fed on demand. Like, if he comes up to me asking for his milk with his little sign that he does, I'm not going to say no. Like, at the moment I'm doing something called don't offer, don't refuse, because I am trying to cut down his feeds during the day, because it can get a bit much, and I am offering the odd cup of cow's milk here and there, but he has his water with his meals. But I'm not trying to get him off, you know, completely. Just so that he'll eat a bit more as well in the day, and so that he can stay with other people, because he's been a little bit clingy with me, to be honest. I'm not sure if that's to do with breastfeeding actually, or if it's just, you know, they go through the separation anxiety phase, don't they? So yeah, but at the minute I'm doing don't offer, don't refuse. So basically I don't offer him any milk throughout the day. If he asks for his milk, then I'll give him his milk, but I don't offer him it. Obviously morning when we first get up I offer him it. Bedtime, before bed I offer him a feed, and he's still up multiple times a night, which is another thing completely. People assume that that's because he's breastfed, that's why he still gets up, because he wants to feed or the comfort because he's breastfed. But obviously the oldest child is 16 now, and he still woke up 2-3 times a night for a bottle until he was 2.5. So it's not all because of that. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not it doesn't make life simpler, apart from in the middle of the night you don't have to get up, go downstairs and start boiling up kettles, and you don't have the bottles to sterilise obviously, and when you're going out you just grab your change bag with your nappies, and you don't need to have all your bottles and your powder and stuff like that. In that respect it is easier, but in other respects it's not. So I don't know really particularly what the point of this video was, if I'm quite honest with you. Just a bit about, I suppose, you know, don't stare at someone or make comments because they're feeding an older baby. Like, if you've got an issue with that, that's your issue. Don't bring it on the person that's doing it, because it's normal and it's natural and it's what we are supposed to do. You know, don't make comments about, oh, get them on the bottle soon, or things like that. It's not helpful, it's not constructive, it's not nice. It's just not. Like I said, you know, I don't have an issue with anyone bottle feeding their child. I'm not going to turn around and be like, don't you think you should have got him on the breast? Don't, you know, bottle again. Oh, I don't know about that. God, should have been on the boob, shouldn't they? I mean, as if you're going to do that. Why is it acceptable to do it the other way around? Why? Why is that in our society? It just royally pees me off. So yeah, breastfeeding a toddler. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. Apparently they start doing this like baby feeding yoga where they're in all these different positions. Like I've heard stories of baby feeding with the legs up here and the head down and all that. I'm quite lucky at the minute. In that respect, I think that he still likes to feed cross cradle. So that's nice. Just lays down and has his feed. I'm sure that'll probably change as he gets a little bit older. And yeah, like I said, I've got no target. I've not got a place that I'm aiming to get to. Just if he wants to stop, we'll stop. Or if I think, do you know what, I've had enough of this is bloody hard work. Because it is. If I get to that point where I'm like, I can't do it anymore, then I'm not going to do it anymore. He's not going to breastfeed forever, is he? He's going to be still hanging off the tip when he's 20. Honestly. Anyway, that's my little video for today. And if you're wondering, yeah, I am sat in the car because he's fallen asleep on the way back, and taking the opportunity while I can to do this, because I started to do it the other day while he was feeding, but that weren't happening. So I thought, oh, I'll do it bedtime when he goes to bed, and don't get a chance with that neither. Because there's always something to do, isn't there? Sure, you can understand as a parent, if that's what you are who's watching. You take your time when you can. So I'm taking the time now. I was, I suppose, a little rant. Was it a rant? It was a little bit of a rant. And also just a little bit of information. And also just a big up Fab for being just amazing with the support. All the way through. And incidentally, that's where I've been this morning, peer support group. where as well I've met lots of lovely friends, so that's another nice thing that you get. So yeah, on that note of having a really lovely morning out with fellow breastfeeding mums, I'm gonna pop off and probably, because it's glorious sunshine today, get a bit done in the garden actually. Well, I'm hoping to. So yeah, thanks for watching.